Hello friends, welcome to our channel Contemporary Literary Review India. In this interview, I am with the author Patanjali Patnaik. Patanjali Patnaik was born and brought up in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. He had the opportunity to spend his childhood days in different towns, sleepy as well as bustling, due to the transferable job of his father, exploring various geographical fabrics and finding newer friendships before finally settling down in Bhubaneswar to finish his last couple of years in school and then college. His professional life has seen him spending the last 20 years in Mumbai, pursuing a career in advertising as a writer and creative director. It has been a satisfying journey working on various brands, telling stories through print, television, and digital media. A handful of Marbles is his debut book. It's a collection of 12 stories that take the readers down the nostalgia lane to what childhood used to be, much before the whole world and its kids went digital. The stories revolve around Pushkar, who is the protagonist in the stories. Pushkar is a 9-year-old precocious boy with a mind of his own. The readers get a ringside view of his life sprinkled with happiness, tears, conflicts, collaboration, love, bonhomie, fears, fantasies, aspirations, arrogance, anger, and much more. Before I move ahead, please subscribe to our channel. Hello, Mr. Patanjali Patnaik. How are you? Welcome to our channel.
Thank you, Khurshid. Thank you so much. I'm very good. How are you?
Very, very good. So, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, sure. Like Khurshid mentioned, Patanjali Patnaik, that's the name I go by. I'm a resident of Mumbai, erstwhile Bombay. But essentially, I would say I'm a small town boy because I was born and brought up in Odisha, a sleepy town of Odisha, which is one of the beautiful states, in India. And my father, by the nature of his job, he needed to be required to be transferred, from every 2 to 3 to 4 years from one place to another. So, growing up as a child for me was a very interesting experience because I got to spend time in different places, so small big towns, different kind of social fabrics, uh, new schools, new set of friends. For a child, it was very enriching for me, and that's like my school and college, everything in Odisha, Bhubaneswar. And then for the close to 25 years now, I've been living in Bombay.
Okay, okay.
Where I work as a writer, creative director uh, in the advertising business, where basically my job is to create content, write scripts, uh, so be it the film medium or any other media, and tell brand stories for different brands and products. That's what I've been doing. And a handful of marbles is my debut book, and I debut as an author. Uh, Briefly, that is what. And it's been close to quarter of a century in Mumbai, but I think that small town boy uh, lingers on, somewhere
Okay.
within.
Still is in you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
They,
that's
they
great.
say you can take a boy out of the small town, but you can't take the small town out of the boy.
Right, right. So, when and how did you start actually creative writing? Particularly because, as you already said, that okay, you are into advertisement area, so you may be writing creative things already. But I'm talking about fiction writing. Okay, so how and when did you start fiction writing?
Okay, see, like I mentioned, as a book and published book, this is my first one. So, but yeah, if you say fiction, where you weave stories and which are not there, not necessarily in the real life, that is stories are all about, right? You imagine something and you imagine characters. So I think that will go back way back, when I was a kid, maybe. Uh, 7 years, I don't know, 6 to 7 years, kind of 7 year old.
Hmm.
uh, I wouldn't say it was creative writing, but it was writing. The journey started like, yeah, maybe creative for that age, because I was beginning to think stories and this kind of plots and this and that. So I think it all started off when my father, uh, who himself was a voracious reader and very knowledgeable person, I think one of the New Year's Eve, he gifted me a diary.
Okay.
Uh, Very very fancy one, very classy. You used to get those times leather bound. There will be a pen holder and there's this planner thing in the back and all the works. So I was very happy, but then afterwards I didn't know what to do. What do I do with it? Like, I didn't have any appointments to keep, to note down,
Hmm.
no itinerary to follow. Like, I was far from busy in that sense.
Hmm.
So then it just happened that I started writing, to do something with the diary. I started writing.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started writing stories. I think that was, if you say fiction writing, that is how it started. And then I've been writing. I mean, the book now happened now, but I've been writing for, from my school days, for my school magazine, my college magazine, then for different newspapers, both local and national. So yeah, but the journey started with the diary
Hmm.
that my father gifted me.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So actually, this is a good habit of those parents who actually gift valuable things to their children. Okay. Uh, so how many books in all have you got published until now?
This is the first one, Khurshid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This
Okay.
is my
Okay.
debut book. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Fine. That's okay.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, sorry to interrupt. Now that you asked that question, sometimes I feel maybe I should have started earlier, like, but this, like they say, it's never too late and everything has to happen when it has to happen, right? So, yeah, this is my first one. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So, would you please give us some glimpse about your book?
Okay. Surely, surely. Uh, so, what I will do now is I'll give you the physical glimpse first.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. So this is how it looks.
Right. A handful of marbles, right?
Yeah, a handful of marbles
Hmm.
by Patanjali Patnaik,
Right.
and this cover is, many people ask me what does it mean. So the book is basically about childhood and about this boy, and the name is Handful of Marbles, which was once upon a time a very crucial. It was an important part of the everyday games, and which no kids plays today. So this marble where he is standing on, and the other marbles around him. So it's like a universe. It's that boy's universe. So this is the book.
Hmm.
Now, just delving a little bit into what it is about, I would say it's an antithesis to the grown up life. If you can put it in one line. Now, the grown up life, which is ridden, filled with, we have our existential angst. Yeah, the race for success that they call the rat race, and the fear of failure, ambitions unfulfilled to be filled, uh, burdens of life. I mean, it all comes with as you grow up. So this book takes you back to the childhood that used to be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and where yes, all these worries were far. I mean, nowhere
Hmm.
there. I mean, you used to enjoy life, and it. There were 12 stories in all. It's a collection of 12 stories.
Okay,
All the
okay,
stories revolved around a boy, a 9-year-old boy called Pushkar,
okay.
who is growing up in a place called Bardurg. Yeah. So it is his world, his universe, the events in his life, his happiness, sorrow, ambition, you know, uh, joys and fights, friends, everything. So it's wrapped in an emotional wrapper, and
Hmm.
yeah, uh, just delves into the complexities in the simplicity of childhood. So it's a child's world. Yeah.
So
and and uh,
you mentioned
and
one place. What is that?
Bardurg.
So is it
It's a
imaginary or it is there?
it's a imaginary. It's an imaginary place. It's like Malgudi.
Acha, acha. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the book, essentially what it does, it to the reader. Now, when you read it, it it makes you feel, when was the last time, or when was the last time you were happy
Hmm.
like a child. you know
Right.
just be happy with no strings attached. This
Hmm.
happens, that's why I will be happy. That shouldn't happen. Just happy for the sake of being happy. I mean, that's the book. I mean, that is the spirit of the book. Childhood. Yeah.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay. How do you think that your book is going to impact the readers? Means in what ways?
I think I just mentioned that, see, we are so caught up in our lives, right? Everyone, like, uh, I think childhood is the only space where we're completely very free. That's no tension. It's our world. We play, we study, we as we grow, as we gather knowledge about the world, the tension grows. Like as a child, I don't know about today's child because they're so exposed,
Hmm.
the information,
Hmm.
inflow. But the time this book talks about, maybe 70s, late 70s, 80s, or 90s, where uh, so Russia invading Ukraine would never impact the child. So he is fine. Let whatever happen, let it happen. I will go out, play, I will have my fun. Okay, but as you grow up, different things come. So starting from the
Hmm.
world politics to your homegrown problems and responsibilities. So you are always like this. So how it will impact is, uh, I'm talking about certain the adult group,
Hmm.
because though it's a handful of marbles, it's about childhood. It is not essentially only for children. It's not a
Hmm.
children's book. Okay,
Okay.
so when you read it, the stories about this character, and what it does, small things. It's no big rocket science. You will connect,
Hmm.
and it will take you back to your childhood. Make you relive your childhood, and that those for moments you just forget all this, and you start, why not, why we have left behind that space. Why do I have to we have to behave like grown-ups, and we always like, oh, this has to happen, that has to happen, so much of work.
True.
So yeah, I mean, just the simple, rediscover the simple joys of life.
Hmm.
Be happy again, like a child. I mean, I think that is what the book will do, I mean, to the readers.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So what are the topics that you touch in your stories? Means, yes, that is about childhood and all those things. But at the same
Correct.
time, what are the things like a glimpse of contemporary society or social issues or political issues or what?
See, like I told you, political issues can't be a part of this book because for a child, politics, I mean, he is not bothered, he is not aware, what
Hmm.
is happening. So it is for a child what is important. Those becomes his politics. Okay. So within his friends, what his friend doing, what I should be doing, not in a bad way, but that becomes his politics. It's not
Hmm.
your usual leader and the party politics that we see.
Right.
Yeah. So see, the topics are very simple things what a child would do.
Hmm.
Like the first story is called A Handful of Marbles. Okay, and marbles, like I said, there was a time where played by kids. Uh, it was if you're going out to play, marbles was part of your daily playing routine, and
Hmm.
that kind of explores Pushkar, who's 9 year old, who's in this area called place called Bardur, and all the kids are playing. And what happens is when you're playing marbles, the competition is key, who can win more and who has the larger collection of number of
Hmm.
marbles.
Hmm.
So this story explores his ambition to gather more and more marbles by winning, and how he wins, how fairly, not fairly. So it explores that. And there's another story called The Mango Tree. Okay.
Hmm.
So Khurshid, they are very simple things in life, but the depth in them keeps so many things can happen around it. So this mango tree, this the story is about this tree, which is an old mango tree,
Hmm.
and what is happening around it. The life that is happening around it, and more so about the kids,
Hmm.
how they play, and how Pushkar one evening or one night he encounters ghouls, ghosts, who he believes been staying in the tree. See, this is what as children, as kids, always ghost and those things we haven't seen, always been told to us something. There's some people, no, there's nothing like ghost, but always kids, always
Hmm.
believed there's something, man, which. So all these things, and there's another called the Gangs of Bardur,
Hmm.
which is our rivalry. See, in kids also we have different groups.
Hmm.
So how the rivalry ensues between
Hmm.
those groups. Then there's another which is a little on the deeper side. It's called Sweet Jesus.
Okay.
So like ghost, what God mean to a child.
Hmm.
If I can veer a little more to the adult world. Okay.
Hmm.
In today's world, God, religion has different meanings. Like I said, you grow up and you start taking them seriously, and you start wars and you fight. But what does it mean for a child in his innocence, in his heart? So Sweet Jesus explore that thing. And yeah, there's many. There's another called The Money Game.
Okay.
Okay, again, I'll call it's a metaphoric story. While it is talking about Pushkar and the money he has gathered, it also indirectly saying in life when money comes in excess, what
Hmm.
happens, how it can impact your life in both good and bad ways. So yeah, these are some of the things, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, do you think drawing plot like we do in novels is equally important in story writing, or do you have any plot in your stories?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, a plot is like, it's intrinsic and crucial uh, to stories, be it a novel or be it a short story or just a story. I mean, there can't be a story without a plot. You know, plot has to be there. So you have to think of a framework, how the story is going to move. It starts from here, there's this middle point, and it ends here. So you have this framework, then you just have to fill it in with words. Yeah, so plot is very important to be thought beforehand. How the story is going to move, and yeah, in novels, the plot is a little long drawn, correct. But in stories and short stories, it's little more concise, like, so we
Okay,
have to
in
think it.
your in your stories you have created one protagonist, that is Pushkar, right? So there
Correct.
may be other characters as well. So while creating characters, what do you have in your mind? Like, do you have any thinking behind, like this should be negative character, this should be positive character, or they are just based on the requirement of the story?
See, it's always based on the requirement of the story. Uh, in my book, there's no negative characters as such, because the stories are such, it's about kids and their world, so there's not negative in that sense, but maybe a little someone who's not as good a boy as the others, so that wouldn't become negative. So yeah, like there are a lot of characters, like Pushkar is there, then there are his friends Akhil, Munir, Debu, you know and there this guy who lives in another side of the colony, who's called
Hmm.
Sarkar. So he's the bully of the area. So, and there's this guy called Suresh Bhai, who's a little older boy, who
Hmm.
maybe has failed twice, thrice in 10th, that kind of a character, and
Okay.
but very good at flying kites, but has some habits which are not really suitable for boys his age.
Hmm.
So different characters. So now coming to a question, how do I create them, like how to
Hmm.
put it in
Hmm.
them? So in my case, and I believe mostly in most authors case, I like, I borrow it from people, I have seen and interacted with in real life,
Hmm.
uh, like throughout my life, starting from my childhood till here. So there are person characters you have met and spoken to, or even if you haven't spoken, you just watched, like,
Hmm.
traveling in a bus.
Right.
There's one guy just sitting there, and you just wonder, like, he has got a peculiar trait, and what would be his life. So all this stay back with you, and I just picked them out and said, why not this guy, this character of mine can be like this,
Hmm.
you know so like this Suresh bhai I'm talking about, this guy who's failed in thrice in 10th and doing nothing, and
Hmm.
his life is going astray, but he's busy, whatever. So I used to know when I was a kid,
Hmm.
there was a boy like that. So yeah, mostly from real life people, their traits, characters, mannerism, physical shape and size. But yeah, many times also from pure imagination.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
what if this character would be like this?
Hmm.
So I have not met anyone like that, but I just write a character like this. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So, okay. So, as a writer, obviously, you may be reading so many books. Okay. So, which writers do you read more often, or which are the best writer, storytellers, or writers, according to you?
Yeah. See, yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, I've read quite a few authors. Like See, there are many, but I think let's not get into all. I would mention the one who has really say inspired as well as influenced me.
Hmm.
It's a great guy and great person called Ruskin Bond. So though I've read many other authors who are good. I mean,
Hmm.
all have their different styles of writing, right? But I really love stories by Ruskin Bond, and yeah. So
Hmm.
he's and I think he's influenced my writing in a big way also. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
I'm so inspired by him. Yeah.
So, are you planning to write any new book in near future?
Yes, why not? I mean, like I said, maybe this book was a little too late in coming. I could have started a little early,
Mm.
but yeah, it takes its time and it has happened. But yes, uh, many more books to come, surely. Uh, uh, what currently on my mind is, see, this character that I've created, Pushkar.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's lot many stories left to
Okay.
be told about him. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, if not do one more book in the series,
Mm-hmm.
which should be again a collection of stories that having Pushkar and his friends and other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Maybe two more. I mean, I don't know. And yeah, after that, which I'm in the process of basically again the creating the plots and just framing the framework of the stories and all that. And after that, going forward, definitely I'll get into writing the longer format, like the
Mm-hmm.
novels,
Okay.
which would uh, drastically would be different from the genre of this kind of book what I'm writing right now, which
Mm-hmm.
is about childhood. So that would be more
Mm-hmm.
deeper and layered.
Mm.
Some subject I don't know yet, but novel, yes.
Okay. 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 It's so nice talking to you. In fact, our interview is coming to conclusion now. So if you have anything to share with the audience or writers, aspiring writers.
Yeah. See, I think I myself is an aspiring writer, so I don't know what to do. Yeah, I've been writing professionally for more than 20 years now. Like I said, I'm a advertising writer, creative director. But yes, as an author, this is my debut book. But yeah, writing, I've known writing for quite a long time. So, aspiring writers, I would say, see, writers are many an author. They're known to be bohemian, like to a certain kind of lifestyle, and but I think in writing, if you want to better your craft, discipline is very important. Yeah, keep writing. The more you write, the better you get,
Mhm.
and make it a point to write at least one page a day. That is the kind of discipline, like a soldier. And yeah, and of course eventually you'll get there. Yeah. uh, Before one more, just I would like to add,
Mhm. Yes, yes.
you know, without the other time, I think in my book I've not mentioned my wife, so she was quite upset. So let me mention.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so let me tell you, I mean, quickly, of course, that the fact that I was writing this book, not many people were aware of it,
Okay.
because I was not very sure when I'm going to complete it. So I was not had not shared with many that okay, I'm writing a book, that. So the only person was my wife and a very few close friends. I think she was very instrumental in, because I was the only one. I was reading it. She will read, she will give her feedback. She helped a lot in proof checking, editing. So thanks a lot, wife. Yeah, I mean, I think that's,
That's great.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your valuable views.
Thank you so much, Khurshid. And it was really a pleasure. And yeah, I know the time is, I remember your words before. We the writers tend to, unless not bracketed and controlled, we just keep
Okay.
on telling.
Right, right.
So I wish I could have spoken to more, but nonetheless, it was great speaking to you, and I'm glad I could share some things about my book and my life. And this is the one, handful of marbles.
Hmm.
If you haven't still picked up a copy, see, this is sales pitch, huh, Khurshid, now.
That's okay.
You
That's
have,
great.
I'm in advertising. I'm in advertising. You haven't still picked up a copy of this, please do it today. It's
Okay.
available on amazon.com. Thank you so much.